Hello and welcome to the STUK on Self-Love podcast. STUK Designs is a successful nonprofit for girls and a clothing brand run by young women from around the world. At STUK Designs, we believe in self-love first because self-love is the dawn that marks the beginning of all the different kinds of loves and because it undoubtedly sustains success. This podcast shines light on strong and talented women who excel and persevere in life while bathing in abundant self-love. So if you're ready to keep it real, level up in all your inner work, creative business, and community impact, then you've come to the right place because we provide you with content that helps your soul glow and your mind grow. Thank you for pressing play. Let's dive in.
We're gonna be alright.
My name is Tazeen, and we'll be talking about your book today.
My name is Kim Spivey, and I am a writer, blogger, editor, and entrepreneur. I also have a blog, Girl You Write, that's a women's blog that I love to talk about all the things. And I also have a second part to my career, which I am an instructional systems designer, and I design curriculum for the Air Force. And I'm also a copy editor for our publication on the military base as well. And I'm also a wife and a mom.
Lovely. So you've recently launched your book and it's called Bloom. Wonderful title, by the way. Can you talk to us about the inspiration for writing that book?
Yeah, sure. So there are actually several things that inspired me to write Bloom. It was something that I've always wanted to do, was to write a book. That's been a long dream of mine. I also received several signs from God that I should write this book and get it out into the world. And by being a woman, I wanted to share a book with other women that would help them overcome certain challenges and barriers in their life. And again, I felt like I could totally relate to them. And so I wanted to write something that included tactics and tools that they could apply to kind of overcome those hurdles and block out those voices of dissent, dream bigger and work harder and just accomplish their goals that have been lying dormant within them for way too long.
Absolutely. So this entire process of writing the book, it can be long, it can be exhausting. So what was this experience like for you? What did the process look like?
Okay, sure. So it is a long process. I will be honest with anyone if they tell me they are looking to achieve writing a book, but it's also one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done. So I would say it took about a total of 3 years for me to publish my book and get it out into the world. But certainly it was no easy feat. But again, it was something that I was very passionate about. So I was really motivated to do that. And then also I wanted to self-publish because I felt that self-publishing would be the best for me because I wanted my book to get out and be out into the world sooner versus later. But of course, I think it depends on the individual and their own preference versus traditional publishing and self-publishing. And certainly I'm not opposed to traditional publishing, but for me, during this time, I felt that would be the best route for me to go.
Right. So this entire book, is there any part that resonates most with you? Any particular portion of the book that you're particularly fond of?
Well, maybe I'm biased, but I'm fond of my entire book. But
Absolutely, of course.
If I just had to choose, I would probably say chapter 2, which the title of that is self-evaluation. And the reason that I really love that one is because it's a chapter where it gives you an opportunity to basically self-reflect on yourself. It gives you an opportunity to ask yourself those introspective questions, to give yourself self-love, and basically evaluate what are the things that you've been doing in your life that you want to be better at. What are those things that you've been blocking out because of fear? And so, sometimes I think that we really have trouble sometimes connecting with ourselves and pointing out things about ourselves that we don't always like to, but I feel that it's necessary and it's very healthy to reflect on yourself and evaluate yourself to see what are the things, again, that I can do better to move me ahead versus backwards.
Right, right. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for writing such an amazing book. I feel that women really need to read this, and I think it's for women of all ages. Don't you agree?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the funny thing is, initially of course, I did specifically write it for women, but my husband,
Right.
he read it cover to cover. And after he finished, he told me, well, this is something that definitely that men can benefit from too,
Of
which has
course.
also been great because there's been several men that have purchased my book. So it's really for anyone who wants to overcome things in their lives. And sometimes there's so many things in our lives that we want to overcome, we just don't know how to get there. And so in this book, I just wanted to share the things that I used in my life that worked, that helped me get to the places that I wanted to be, because I no longer wanted to just be stuck or felt stagnant in the place that I was. And then also, I want to mention another thing that really resonates within my book is the title of Bloom Where You're Planted. Because sometimes in life, we feel that we need to be 20 steps ahead. And one of the most important things that you can do, you can bloom where you are right now. So utilize those resources that you have now. Utilize anything that could get you closer to your goal, because sometimes we might say, well, I don't have enough money to invest in the business that I want to do, or I'm too busy right now. My child is really young and I'm just going to wait till they graduate from high school. So sometimes we use so many different excuses not
Right.
to bloom where we are right now.
Right.
And that's so important for everyone to embrace that, because I think once you start to embrace that, that's when everything starts to unfold for you and you can move so many steps ahead so much easier.
Right. So, do you have any advice for, women or men who are just starting out or who are possibly stuck in this slump and they can't seem to get out of it? They can't find the motivation. And, because at a time like this, these are uncertain times and it's the story for a lot of people and so many people are suffering. So, do you have any advice for them?
Yeah. So for me personally, if you're in a place right now where you want to move ahead, but you just feel like you just can't, you
Right.
really have to ask yourself, are you ready? And for me
Mm.
personally, I was ready. I was ready to do the hard work. You have to ask yourself, are you ready to do the hard and tedious work? Because it's not going to be easy, but that's something that you have to dig your heels in the sand and you have to do it if you really want to get there. There's so many things I talk about in my book, that strategies that help me overcome certain things when I just felt I was in just such a slump. So for example, vision boards. Create a vision board.
Right.
I know that it's cliche as it may sound, it's very beneficial because it's something that's tangible, that you could see your goals. So I keep a vision board in my office. I'm able to
Mhm.
look at that every day. And so that shifts my mindset and that motivates me even more to go after my goals. Also, journaling is a really good thing. Write your goals out, write your dreams out. Don't be afraid to dream big. And so, once you internalize those things, I think that starts to push you a little bit more. Work on things like procrastination. We're
Mhm.
all guilty of it. We are. I'm guilty of doing
Absolutely.
that. But it is something that you can overcome to be better. Prioritizing yourself, getting things mapped out, writing a plan
Mhm.
of action for yourself. Also, reading books. There's so many books out there, including mine, that I feel like that could help you so much if you are feeling stuck. There's so many different books that I've read, in my life that I felt has contributed towards me moving forward. And so it's one of those things, again, that I'll say you have to be willing to do the work. If you really want it, if you're really passionate about it, then you have to take that first step in order to get yourself there.
Right. And lastly, I want to ask you, since you have so much on your plate and you're doing an amazing job at all of these things, how did you find the time to write an entire book? What was your time management like?
Oh goodness. Yeah. So that's a question I get asked all the time. But to be honest, it was squeeze it in when I could. It was after I put my daughter down to bed at night. It was my
Right.
husband pitching in and being so very supportive to handle a lot of things with her while I was writing. I used my lunch break. I used 15-minute breaks at work. There were
Wow.
times there were times that I took my work to her soccer practice or swim practice. I utilized the weekends to work. And then I also talk about in the book, I do wake up early. It's not something
Right.
that I love to do, but it's something that
Mhm.
I have to do that helps me get myself to those goals. So those are all the things that I use in order to finish and complete this book as far as time management goes.
You're so incredibly hardworking, and I really, really appreciate you for that. Can you tell the audience where they can find your book?
Yeah, sure. So my book is available on Amazon. And again, the title of it is Bloom: How to Get from Good Enough to a Life You Love. And also, signed copies are available on my website, and that's www.girlyourite.com, WRITE.
Right. Perfect. I wish you all the best for your book, and I wish you all the best for everything else in your life. Thank you so much for joining us. It was so nice to talk to you. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.
Hey, beautiful people! We at STUK Designs have begun our crowdfunding campaign with iFund Women supported by Caress. We are raising money for expanding our programs, manufacturing art kits, setting up our studio that will be a space to empower women and girls through art and self love, and a lot of other work that we have planned. We would love your help in our mission to provide girls in underserved communities art education and help them recognize and utilize the power of self love. Visit our website www.stuckdesigns.org for a link to our campaign. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. You can visit our website www.stuckdesigns.org to shop our merch, make donations, join our blogging team, or be a part of our affiliate program. See you in our next episode. Love and light from us to you.